going to give you a story about a man who's in a canoe, and he's going down this river, and there's rough waters, and his canoe capsizes, okay? And so here he is, he starts floating along. He sees this bank, this rock bank, and he goes and he grabs on to this rock formation, and he's holding on. But the strength of the river is so strong that the current is pushing him, and he's gripping on with everything he has. And his fingers are beginning to lose their feeling. And so he tries gripping with his arms, and he's holding on to this rock for dear life. He's holding on to this rock for dear life because he doesn't know the charted course of that river. He didn't expect to be holding on to the rock. He just expected to be in that little boat going down and everything would be fine. But now here's where he's faced. He's got this rock that he's holding on to, but he's losing grip because he's losing feeling. And he doesn't know where that river is going to lead. So here he is. He's in absolute pain and at the same time, absolute fear because of the unknown. And finally, he looks down the river and he sees nothing. But the nothing that he sees, there's at least a chance. Whereas he knows there's no way he could possibly hold on to this rock forever. So he lets go. He just submits and he just lets go, and he goes down the river. And the point of the story is that when the pain of hanging on became greater than the fear of letting go, that's when he let go. Why am I giving you that story? Because that's fear. We all have things that we fear. We all have things that are in us that we have a deep worry of, whatever those things are. Maybe you have a job that you're in and you know long ago, years ago, you should have been out of that job. People told you to get out of that job. People said you're worth more money than that, but you didn't know what was down your river. Feels so real. Fear has people in careers. Fear has people in relationships. People have made decisions to do things for a decade of their life out of complete fear. Let me tell you that I want you to consider this. I want you to consider that my life and your life, imagine the day that we were born and hourglass was flipped over. Imagine that. You get the visual? The old school hourglass was flipped over. Now, we all have different degrees of sand in that hourglass, but all of us have hourglasses that the day we enter this world flipped. And as every grain of sand goes, that's a second or a minute of your life. Every grain of sand is a second or a minute of your life. And one day, the grains will be all gone. Now, I don't know what stage that's going to be, but that is the one equalizer of all of us, that the universe has given all of us this thing called death. And in death, there's clarity. We all know that one day we won't be here. So let me ask you a question. Before you go and meet your maker, before we go and meet our makers, isn't it a great idea to do the thing that which you fear? Now, there's healthy fear. Fear can be healthy. Fear of a rattlesnake, healthy. Fear of jumping off a cliff, that's healthy. Fear of I've been in this position and I am scared that I'm not going to get the next position, so I don't even apply to the next position because I don't know that I'm going to get it. So I could get it, but I don't know that I'm going to get it. So I don't know I'm going to get it. I'm just going to not apply it all because since I don't know I'm going to get it, because it's not a guarantee, I'm just going to stay right where I am. 5 years go by, 10 years go by, 15 years go by, 20 years go by, all these years go by, and now half of my life is gone, and I'm doing something that I don't want to do because of fear. I'm here at a place, I'm living in a state I don't want to live in because of fear. I have people around me, and these people don't represent who I really am, but they're comfortable. They're comfortable, but they're really not comfortable, but I'm numb to them. I don't have feeling anymore, so I'm just gonna stay here. Let me tell you that when the hourglass runs out and the sands are gone, none of us will ever say, I'm so glad I didn't do that thing that I really wanted to do. I'm so glad I didn't. Look, I want you, I want me, I want all of us to pursue the things that we truly want. That's it. Because, man, I'd rather you go for the thing that you are worried about. As a matter of fact, I'd rather you just stop worrying. I mean, let's face it. We all know the story. The story at some point in the physical plane ends. That's a fact. So as long as we have this physical body to have these amazing experiences, what is the value of being in fear? What is the value of that? What is the ultimate payoff of being in fear? Why not just go for it? What's the worst thing that could happen? Worst thing that can happen is it might happen. It might not happen. So it's either gonna happen or it's not gonna happen. You're gonna get the gig or you're not gonna get the gig. But if you don't apply, you're guaranteed not to get the gig. You have 100% never going to get that which you don't go for. So what is the value of fear? I don't really see any major value to it. I see people do extreme things like they say, I'm scared of flying, so I'm gonna take a flight. That's an accomplishment, congratulations. I'm scared of skydiving, so I'm gonna skydive. Good for you, that's an accomplishment. But those are like extreme things. Those are like extreme overcoming of things. We have things day to day. Day to day. I remember when I applied for university, I remember something very interesting happened for me. There was a school that was a reach. I went to a school called Bucknell in central Pennsylvania, and I remember filling out the application and being told by my advisor that it was a little bit of a reach. Like I didn't fully have the full grades to be able to get in there. And I said, well, okay. They said it's a little bit of a reach, but you can apply anyway, but don't be too disappointed. I ended up going to Bucknell, right? And what I realized is that not all advisors really advise in the way that they should. You see, it was one more application. It was one more I'd already done. Back then, you didn't do like one application. I went to like 50 schools. You did the common application, but you didn't do all the applications that went to like 50 schools. Like you had to like apply to schools. You had to like write an essay specific for that school. And my attitude was this. My attitude was, well, if it's a no, it's a no. But if it's a yes, it's a yes. And if it's a no and there's no shot, then at least I took a shot. But if it's a yes and I take my shot, all I was going to shoot my shot. See, I just wanted a shot. And if they said no, at least I shot my shot. Man, when I was walking on that campus and I went to the bookstore and I bought my Bucknell hat, I remember sitting there thinking to myself, man, I'm so glad that I applied, even though my advisor advised against the application. And if I would have listened to my advisor, oh man, here's the thing. When you listen to the wrong advice or you give yourself the wrong advice, you don't know what the potential outcome could be. There's this thing called sliding door theory. And sliding door theory simply says this. It says that there's parallel universes like connected to where you are right now in this universe. And every choice and every decision opens up another branch of another universe, that there's literally a multiverse that we're sitting in. And every decision opens up a multiverse, like a different possibility. So if I make a decision in this current moment based on fear, then it opens up a doorway that is fear-based. If I make a decision right now based on faith, it opens up a doorway that is faith-based. It is so crazy that people go to church and pray and say that they have faith, but when the moment of faith to be exercised comes, they completely fall apart. I know people that pray every day. they're in fellowship every Sunday, and they live in a constant state of fear. And it is absolutely crazy. Everyone, let me just wrap it up with this simple communication. One day we won't be physically here. That's a fact. We know it. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to obsess about it, but it's good to be present to it and ask yourself this question. When my time comes, will the things that I fear, will I celebrate that I did not do them because of my fear? Will I say, I'm so glad I didn't go for that because of my fear? I'm so glad I didn't go for that because of my fear. Or will I be in a space of absolute regret because I know in my heart of hearts that if I could have just gone for it, I could at least have the peace of knowing that I went for it. Like, it didn't have, the outcome wasn't the point. The point was that I went for the thing. And because I went for the thing, I can have some peace in my spirit that at least I attempted and failed, but I went for a magnificent failure as opposed to not. What is the thing that you fear? What is the thing that you are holding on to? What is the thing that is gripping you, that is taking the oxygen out of you? And if you would just do that which inspires you, and inspire comes from the root inspiros, which means to breathe life into. If you would just go for the thing, you could have an opportunity to be inspired and have the air of life go into you, as opposed to just looking at the hourglass and the sands draining out and knowing that one day when your time is up, that there were so many doors you could have opened if you would have just canceled the conversation of fear. What if, and if you hear this and you are now present to the gift that you've been given of just another day to go for what it is that you want, and you're willing to just take that conversation of fear and take a sword to it, then begin now. Go boldly, because let me tell you something, you won't have a lot of competition because most of the people around you stay afraid. So go boldly. Let somebody else let fear dominate their day, hold them back from their dreams, hold them hostage and caged up in things that haven't even happened. Let somebody else choose to be caged. If that's their choice, that's their choice. But for you, if anything I just said resonates with you, then go. Because when the pain of hanging on becomes greater than the fear of letting go, that's when you let go.